I know you've seen it before. Perfect drone footage, gorgeous lights, stunning location, but then something just feels off. Watch this. Can you spot it? Do you see how the drone suddenly turns mid-shot? That right there is a dead giveaway that the person flying is a beginner. And I get it. When you're up in the air, everything looks amazing. Look at that tree. Look at that house. Look at the water. Squirrel. So the natural instinct is to try and show it all. Fly forward, spin left, shoot down, pan right. But here's the problem. The moment someone watching notices the camera, the illusion is gone. You've pulled them out of the experience. See, cinematic drone footage isn't about showing off complex moves. It's about creating smooth, intentional motion that keeps your viewer immersed. And that's exactly what these three simple moves are designed to do. But just before we go over the moves, here are two tricks to keep in mind. The first trick is to keep it simple. The more complex the move, the more potential it has to be distracting. And people don't care about what move the drone makes. They care about what the video looks like. The second trick is slow movements. As a beginner, the temptation to fly as fast as possible is real. Here's a side note. If that's an itch you want to scratch, check out FPV drones. You can get pre-built ones like this, or you can build your own from scratch. This one isn't the very fast type. It's called a Cine. That's more for smooth, non-aggressive flying. This one tops out at around 100 kilometers per hour or 60 freedom units, miles per hour. The others that are called freestyle drones or racing drones, they fly at 80 miles per hour through tight spaces. Plus, with these types of drones, there's a little bit more setup because you need goggles and a controller. If you want content about FPV drones, let me know in the comments. I can break down how to get good footage with them. But back to GPS drones, we're essentially using a floating tripod. So slow movements gets you smooth footage. There should be a mode on your controller called Cine, Tripod, or C mode. It adjusts the max speed and other settings to give you smoother movement. You can always take off in normal mode and get your drone where you want it, and then switch over to Cine mode to get the actual shot. Let's cover three moves that are essential to any drone video. We'll walk through how to do them, two ways to add some spice, and one bonus move if you're up for the challenge. The first one is the push-in. That's your bread and butter. The way you do it is just fly straight towards your subject. Why it works? It keeps your composition stable. It creates a shift between the background and the foreground. And it also lets you see exactly where you're going. And it's also very safe because you can see all the dangers right in front of you. But here's a trick. Once you start the move, you have to commit. No mid-shot adjustments. Don't slow down or speed up or try to adjust so that you kind of get it right. Just hold the stick steady and film longer than you think. I recommend doing about 3 seconds before and 3 seconds after you think you got it. That gives you room to trim it cleanly when you're in the edit. The second shot is the pull-out. That's the reverse of what you just did. That's when you're backing away from maybe a beach, a person, or a tree. You just hold the right stick back and then fly in a straight line away from the subject. This is a great way to reveal context. You can start really close to your subject and then pull out to show where they are. Maybe it's this stunning landscape. And it's the same rule as before. You have to commit to the move. If you start changing speed or wobbling around mid-shot, it breaks the flow. The only difference with this one is you need to be extra aware of what's behind your drone. You're semi-flying blind, so scout the area before and keep an eye on your drone and use the rear sensors. The third move is the rise or the fall. It's also known as a top-down move. This is where the drone is rising straight up from a subject while the camera is pointing down. So once your camera is pointing down, you're either pushing up on the left stick to rise or pulling down on the left stick to descend. This gives you that clean overhead look that instantly feels cinematic like a drone move. It's also one of the safest shots to fly. Because you're moving vertically, you can usually see what's directly above or below you. Now, if you want to spice it up, add a slow yaw spin by gently pushing the same left stick sideways while you rise or fall. This works especially well when your subject can handle rotation. Think circular shapes, plazas, or natural elements. And just like before, hold the move. Fly slow, record longer than you need. These three moves make up around 80 to 90% of my shots. That's because they're simple, it allows the composition to shine. Now, here's the bonus move if you're ready for a challenge. This one is called the orbit. This is where your drone flies in a circular path around your subject while keeping the camera pointed at it. It looks very cinematic and dynamic. And it's also impressive because it kind of shows the subject in all context. But it also is harder than it looks. Some drones have a preset or automatic way of doing this, but here's how you do it manually. First, you start by flying sideways with the right stick. Then you push the left stick in the opposite direction to slowly yaw the drone toward the subject. So in this one, you're combining two inputs at once. So for example, right stick left, then the drone moves left, while you push the left stick right to rotate the drone to the right and keep the subject in frame. Now, if you do too much yaw, the drone will spin away from the subject. And if you do too much lateral movement, you'll lose the framing. So this is one that you need to practice over and over again to get it right. Once again, your drone may have a built-in orbit or point of interest mode, and that can automate the process. Some drones, it might be a little funky, but if yours works perfectly, then go with that. All you do is select your subject, choose the distance and the direction, and basically the drone will do the orbit for you. Now in your controller, there's going to be a setting called Gain and Expo. Most beginners don't even know this tab exists, but you're smart, you're ahead of the game. If you want full control over how your drone moves, this is where you start. What is gain? Gain controls how aggressively your drone responds to stick inputs and even to the wind. If it has higher gain, your drone will be more quick to respond or more twitchy. If it's low gain, it'll be very smooth in responding. What is expo? Expo is short for exponential. It changes how sensitive your sticks feel around the center. The lower the expo, the more responsive the drone will be to small movements. While the higher the expo, the center of the controller starts to become more dead space. That's perfect for controlled slow movements. Here's a simple cheat sheet you can copy for your own drone. Now the exact numbers may vary depending on your drone model, but the logic is going to be the same. Drones typically have three modes: Cine, normal, and sport. Cine is for those slow shots that we talked about. Normal is the in-between mode, while sport is the fast and responsive mode. I typically use normal or sport to get the drone into position and then switch over to Cine to shoot. Now here's a pro tip. Your drone may reset to normal mode when it's powered off, even if the controller is set to Cine. So flip it back to normal and then back to Cine to lock it in. Now here's the slightly embarrassing part of this video. We're going over takeoff and landing tips that I had to learn the hard way. So first, learn how to hand catch safely. You could do it two ways. Hold your hand flat, palm up under the drone, and then the downward sensors will detect your hand as if it's the ground, and it'll land the drone. You could also try to grab the drone, but try to reach it in a spot where the obstacle sensors won't detect your hand. Then you grab it and pull down the left stick to land. Now, if you're doing this and the wind picks up and you lose control, grab it firmly and flip it over to shut it off manually. Don't pull the drone down when you hand catch it. It might end up thinking that it's fighting the wind and it'll throttle up and speed up, which is the exact opposite of what you want. So instead, hold it lightly and pull the left stick down steadily. Second tip, avoid takeoff or landing in a moving boat. It confuses GPS and the sensors and it can cause drift. So only do this when the boat is anchored or is completely still. You also need to be careful of wind drift during takeoff. So once the drone launches, it usually goes up to a set height. But if the wind is strong, it may shift the drone sideways and cause it to clip nearby objects. And especially if there are a bunch of people around you that are super interested that you're taking off your drone. One more tip that you don't want to learn the hard way is don't take off in sport mode indoors. So the obstacle sensors are off during sport mode and the drone will just fly straight up and hit the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan will smash the drone and then send it back down. And then you'll try to catch it, but the propellers will still be spinning and it'll cut you on your index finger. I guess. Now it's your turn. Did you pick your scenario? Water, nature, or neighborhood? I didn't forget. Double check the local laws. Use common sense and go and fly. Practice each of these 3 moves until they feel second nature. Get used to holding the move, flying slow, and recording longer than you think you need. Then once you've nailed that, you'll have a solid base to work from. Then, if you're feeling up to the challenge, you could even try the orbit move. Even if it's just the automated version, that'll just help you to learn what good looks like. Because great footage is just the start. The majority of the time is actually spent in the edit. But don't worry, while editing can seem intimidating, we'll go through it step by step. And if you haven't downloaded DaVinci Resolve, what are you waiting for? It's free, go grab it. Once you're done, hop over to the next video. You can also start this series from the beginning by clicking here.